Welcome back once again to the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series America Edition. I'm Nathanius, joined by Cole Taryn, who, chat's been asking about it all day today and all day yesterday. You gotta tell us, Kellen, why do you have a Protoss tattoo on your arm? Is it your way of crying out that Protoss is so overpowered that they have taken over your body?
Yes, exactly. I was kidnapped by Zeratul himself, drugged up, woke up with this tattoo on my arm, and
You've been branded, I believe, like a cow.
Yeah, I've been like a piece of cattle, trying to show it here above the Protoss OP. That's the I am living embodiment. Whenever Protoss is done being OP, it'll come off magically.
Oh, I see. It's like
it's like a curse mark. Like once that's been fulfilled, it'll go off.
I've seen the dragon prints. I know how those work. That's excellent information. So hopefully we'll be able to get that fixed for you soon. Goodness gracious, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's been a real pain, especially because I play Protoss. So like I also don't want this to happen.
Oh man,
I'm locked into just this constant struggle of my own body.
Yeah, there should be a whole campaign about your storyline because that sounds real traumatic. We have something even more traumatic coming up for you next. It's TvT, ladies and gentlemen.
Baby.
We've got Cuddlebear going up against Epic, and
over under on these games taking 30 minutes each. Over under.
I mean, it's modern TvT. It's each game is going to end off a 2-base Raven tank push.
If we're lucky.
Call it. If we're
Let's see here. New Repugnancy going to be that first map for this TvT. Get to see who will stay alive here.
Yeah.
Who you feeling heading into this series?
I mean, I think Epic is a clear favorite.
Absolutely.
I think that's why I say the 2-base push, because I think Epic will just out-micro him and out-control him and dominate him and crush him. Much like in the Brave Little Toaster, when the cars get put into the trash compactor, and that will be Cuddlebear in his final moments. So to start things off in the bottom left, we have the Red Terran player. He isn't Cuddlebear. He's Epic.
The compactor himself.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good.
Up against this guy up the top right-hand side from Alpha X, the little toaster that could. He's Cuddlebear. Maximilian.
You guys are talking about how he needs to play against Estrella. We can have Max Angel versus Maximilian. You missed a chance to mess with Cats, though, because he doesn't. You could have done like a Maximilian Pegasus thing on him because he doesn't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh. That would have been our next step.
I know. Opportunity missed.
Yeah, we'll get him. We'll get him eventually. I mean, he doesn't like Cool Ranch, so...
What's the deal with that?
We'll muscle him out.
Seriously, doesn't like Cool Ranch.
If you guys want to come cast WCS Challenger, just tweet at me. Your first prerequisite has to be a video of you eating an entire bag of Cool Ranch.
Absolutely, family size.
You can't just say it, obviously. You need to show me.
Bonus points if you show up with a box of Cool Ranch Doritos for us.
Yeah, exactly. So we know that there's no way that you faked it.
We want the dust should still be on your lips when you show up.
God. Maybe not that far. Clean yourself up, you animals. Jeez. Let's TvT. So what we're seeing is about as standard as it gets, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to make a sandwich, you're going to start with bread. And in TvT, that's a depot, gas, racks, gas, factory, pull SCVs off gas, reactor, Tech Lab Command Center, back on gas, Cyclone, Starport. After Cyclone, build a different Tech Lab with the factory, put Starport on Tech Lab, build Raven, take gas right as Command Center is about to finish in natural. So you have 3 gas, tank Raven, second Raven, swap to reactor barracks. That's been building Marines, build 2 Vikings, move across the map and kill your opponent. That is the build order for 99% of Terran versus Terrans that are played.
Yeah, see, you guys think that was just him like making a random prediction. That was the future flowing through him. And Nathanius is the mouthpiece for this TvT.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean...
I'm kind of like the Heimdall of TvT. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing gets past him as... Ooh, Reaper. Not able to get that SCV. So, with a little bit deviation here, 2 workers get killed. Does that mean absolutely anything here at the start of this?
TvT worker kills aren't really a big deal early on. Actually, almost at any point. Unless you really gut your opponent in a huge way. Terran versus Terran is the most deceptive matchup in StarCraft when it comes to worker damage. because everything for Terran is so production limited, having extra money doesn't mean you just get more units. Like in PvP, if you're ahead economically, you just warp in because you usually have warp ins available. You just warp in when you want stuff. In TvT, you're always building something, and your units aren't that expensive, honestly. In TvT, it's not.
Yeah.
When you have a lot of production set up and you have a bunch of barracks that you're trying to use, then you're a bit worried about losing workers. But even then, you just call down the mule hammer and you can squeeze out about 10 Marines easily.
Yeah,
but what I do, that's pretty. What I joked about is what I expect to see. The Cyclone opening makes a lot of sense. Epic should have already taken the gas on his natural. Don't know why he hasn't done that yet. Cuddlebear has his gas finishing in tandem with his command center. So he will be able to build a Raven and a tank at the same time. That's why you need the third gas. You cannot afford to build a Raven and a siege tank at once without the third gas. So
nice job lining it up here for Cuddlebear, as Reapers did a little bit, but we'll both get cleaned up here. Got him the scouting information he needs to know that it is just about mirrored, as we've been seeing that Raven about to pop out for Epic as the tank gets started up. And it's going to be a Liberator coming out. Is that Liberator coming before the Raven? Yeah. So is the Liberator, does it maintain its role as a primarily harassment unit in this matchup, or is it, you know, can it be more of a...
Biggest use for Liberators in TvT, there's two spaces where they serve a role. The first is when you're being aggressive and you want to send the Liberator to like the main while you push the natural. That's pretty much it. Or in the very late game, after you have established a dominant Viking lead, then you can use Liberators to cut off siege tank lines with range upgrade. Then it's very good because you can force it.
Yeah, it can be very restrictive.
Yeah, the best part about it in that case is just that with range upgrade, they're so hard to hit by Marines. So if you don't have the Viking lead, you just die because you just put your Liberator over your own tank and you can hit the enemy tanks. So
Great
makes
utility.
it very hard.
Yeah.
Interestingly, so Cuddlebear is doing the move out that I was talking about. I'm surprised the way he kind of skipped the Raven is interesting, but he does have the Liberator going for the main. This is kind of what I was talking about. And this gets ugly very quickly if you don't react properly, because now he just can't use that gas.
Yeah, not going to be able to, and now the Cyclone's having to come up to respond to this as Cuddlebear is arriving on the front side of this. See what he'll be able to get done with that. Nice window for him, potentially, as he jumps on top of that tank, and now getting siege up on the low ground here.
Now, let us not forget, there is a Raven, so Epic can just click on that, drop a turret, and he should be able to clean this up without any significant losses. So, we talked about worker damage in TvT earlier, and it's very similar. That third command center has now started for Cuddlebear, though, so he wants to get an economic leg up. But after the way that this has all started, I will say one of the nice things that Epic did for himself by not kind of going for that sort of push, he's got 3 barracks already done. So he is looking to do the techless in a way, because he did get the Raven.
Right.
But his stim is so fast that you're just hoping to kind of boop your opponent. Like, it's kind of like a boop the snoot of TvT, where usually stim finishes late for both players because you do that 1v1-1-1 with the 2 Ravens into Vikings, which is exactly what Cuddlebear is kind of doing now in a very late sense. But Epic could already just try to siege by that main and drop stim Marines in, and then he just kills them.
Yeah, absolutely. And he has those 2 medevacs, I think, making their way across somewhere.
Also, I hate that. You shouldn't. I don't think anybody should do that.
The auto turret harass?
Auto turret harass in TvT is terrible because the interference matrix is going to be about 1 billion times better value when you need it. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And the interference matrix alone decides so many tank-on-tank engagements.
Yeah. I don't like it because the interference matrix is too important at stopping attacks, and the only reason he's probably doing it is because he thinks he can get away with that. But one of the best lessons I ever learned in like maybe a year ago in Legacy of the Void, when they started to give the Raven some better abilities, the Muslim was like, mate, if you see somebody dropping a turret by your base, he's got nothing, just go kill him. And I started doing that, and I realized that, yes, it's very easy to win TvT matches if your opponent wastes their Raven energy on auto turrets. Now, that drop does get hit. He's got stim, but the siege tank, very well placed by Cuddlebear, so I'm going to give him some kudos. Great job. He doesn't have enough Raven energy to disable both tanks and move his own up, so...
Yeah, really well done here. Great placement there. Trying to move that tank again as the drop is trying to find a window there. The 2 Ravens down at that natural base. And again, Cuddlebear with a good tank spot. Gonna be able to defend the main.
The auto turrets.
Wow.
Then there's the counter turret, but the turret's killing the tank there. That's a useful way to use the Raven energy.
Absolutely.
Now, this push in the main has been really annoying. He's trying to drop Stim Marines onto that, and that's very dangerous. Just get those units out of there. Got the command center pretty low on health.
Yeah, got it fairly low. Gonna force some repairs on that eventually as these Vikings looking for this medevac and finds one. Nicely done. Well defended by Cuddlebear here. You know, 2 worker lead for him now. Not too significant, as you said, that worker damage. Not really going to be making too much of a difference, but Epic not being able to capitalize on that earlier stim puts him in a little bit of a weird spot here. And just backing off.
I don't think it hurts. It's kind of, I mean, it's just the way the TvT is, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, I say it in like a joking-ish manner, but the early harass doesn't mean much of anything if you don't straight up kill the other guy, because at the end of the day, TvT boils down to one thing, and it's positioning of armies. You could try to say, you could make the comparison that he's got way more Marines. There's about almost 20 Marine lead for Epic. But if his Marines aren't in a good spot, or a medevac gets sniped, or he takes 1 or 2 tank hits he wasn't expecting, that doesn't mean anything. Right. So TvT is just very much so about using what you have, and you don't need to have as much as your opponent to beat them. You know, it's very different than, oh, I've got, you know, 4 less Archons, I'm just going to lose if we both A-move. He can take this not so crazy powerful army and just leave it sieged at this third. It's like, yeah, well, if you want to break this, it's actually not as simple as just attacking into it, and if you do, it's going to be very cost and effective.
Yeah, as this double drop coming in on the other side as well, going to find quite a bit of opportunity here at this natural mineral line. Oh my goodness.
This is the weakness, of course, of that. He's able to sneak those 2 medevacs by. That tank does get blown up, and he's got 1-1, which is one of the reasons why this looks so ugly. Marine on Marine, every single upgrade is worth gold. Seriously, the impact of having that +1 armor is so huge.
So massive. I mean, it affects every shot that's coming out. And now finding 14 workers overall, and maybe we're saying a little bit here, but denying a little bit more mining time. Now finally looking to fight this force of the third base. Interference matrices go out.
Ooh, that was perfect executed breakdown here. Interference matrices. He actually had 3 Ravens, Cuddlebear, so loses 1, but that's kind of the benefit when we talk about why the Raven is so powerful in TvT. Shutting down the tanks, the Dorito cannon for Marine on Marine, it cannot be overstated, the impact of a Dorito cannon in a bio fight in TvT.
Absolutely.
You don't see it very often because the Ravens usually aren't with that army, or they die before it becomes a factor, but it is that important.
No, most definitely is +2 weapons getting out off Cuddlebear, but no +2 armor, so Epic potentially going to be able to take a lead in that regard as this game continues to drag on. Epic on the defense right now, trying to keep Cuddlebear back as he maneuvers in the center of the map, trying to get those restrictive tank positions.
I like that Cuddlebear built sensor towers, though. Sensor towers are really important. In TvT, half the movement revolves around scans. Ooh, this is a little bit awkward. Good interference matrix should open up an opportunity for these tanks to get a kill.
Nice.
And he's got Vikings, by the way. So Epic's trying to use the medevac for vision, but because he doesn't have air control, all he can do is use scans. And guess what? If you don't have scans, especially without sensor towers, to know to use those scans, you're in a tough spot, and he gets a great siege up. SCVs are coming off the line. Needs to make sure he uses those siege tanks focus fire, and he does. GG Cuddlebear takes game 1 against Epic. Very, very, very well done. I thought Epic was going to sweep this match. I have already been proven very wrong, and I love it.
Yeah, Cuddlebear with great TvT play. I mean, playing to his strengths, with great use of those Ravens, you know, proving the value of them like you've been saying, and yeah, really well done. I'm really impressed by Cuddlebear there in that first game.
Epic really overstayed his welcome.
Yeah.
He left his Raven with the 3 tanks and those Marines that were left out. 3 tanks are worth a lot. At some point, the fact that Cuddlebear has 3 Ravens, normally I'd say it's weird. Like, more Ravens are better, but in TvT at some point you need to go into Vikings or Medivacs because the Ravens on their own aren't going to win.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the value of that air superiority there at the end, even with such a relatively low Viking count. I mean, being able to force back those Medivacs, being able to dominate the vision game there, but proved to be so valuable. Getting extra tank kills on top of the 3 free ones across the map.
Yep,
great moves.
Most everything in TvT breaks down to positioning of units, and units like the siege tanks, they absolutely annihilate the Marines if they're in a good spot. Whereas the Vikings can turn that the other way if there's a Liberator or tanks with vision involved. but the Raven is kind of like, it's like a trump card.
Absolutely.
In a situation where you say, I'm down on Marines, but I've got the same amount of tanks. If I can inch my tanks just a little bit forward, use interference matrix to create that space, suddenly you see what happened to Epic there. And yes, he had some tanks, but he found the angle. He wedged himself in that spot, and then he had to pull his SCVs to pull everything, and it didn't matter because he didn't have enough and he died.
Yeah, exactly. Very good push. As now Kairos Junction for map number 2, Cuddlebear looking to close this out with quite a bit of an upset, I would dare say.
Yeah, I really like his build.
Yeah.
Epic went for, like, I would say this is one of those frustrating builds to play against, because if you do your Raven tank meme and it doesn't work very well and your opponent goes for a faster stim 3 racks, you could die real fast. Like,
Absolutely.
Stim Marines are really good, but 16 Stim Marines actually don't beat the, like, 12 non-Stim Marines with 1 or 2 tanks mixed in, which Epic didn't. You don't get early on when you do that build. So I like Cuddlebear doing that. I think he should stick to it. This map is like the best, or one of the best, for doing the 2-base tank Raven push, since you can siege up on the lip of the main.
Oh, right,
and you can cut off the main from the natural extremely easily on this map. So let's see. I do expect I don't think any proxy shenanigans, but I do expect to see the Raven tank Marine from both sides, especially on this map. Maybe someone does something greedy, but if they don't, then it should be the very, very standard build that I described earlier. So to kick this off, in the bottom right, trailing, we have the red Terran player. He is Epic. XD, so epic. Lol.
And his opponent up on the top left-hand side in the blue, it is Cuddlebear. We're going to close out this series.
Maximilian.
Rizdal. Last name, pretty cool as well. Like, he's got a pretty solid name, this guy.
I feel like it's probably pronounced in some sort of fancier way, right?
What, like Rizdal or the
Rizdal. Maybe the S is silent. I don't know, right?
Maybe so. Maybe, yeah, give it a little bit of that flair.
It depends. Because, the origin of the names of most Americans are, it's going to be, there's a lot of European influence, obviously. I guess it really depends regionally where you're from. Because people always give me that because they think, but sometimes it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's like mine is just Fabricant, but I get people that are like, no, I can't be that simple, right? Like there's got to be a different way to pronounce this. I'm like, no, that's just it.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Americans with weird names, right? That's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
The European ones are usually the ones that we really mess up the pronunciation on.
Oh, I feel so bad. I stopped trying.
Yeah.
With a lot of them.
I think I've went through 3 or 4 Twitter/Twitch chat chains of communication with people today over my pronunciation of the French thing. So apparently I'm supposed to say Tres Gros. Très Gros.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gross in French is just pronounced as gros.
The S
so how do they say gros? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that's just crazy, you know?
This language
do French people confuse grow and grow all the time?
Yeah, like if somebody says they're like growing plants, like why are you calling your plants gross? Like
why are you calling your plants? Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe people just think gardeners are really mean.
I spilled macaroni and cheese all over my shirt and it's gross, and someone's like, "Your shirt's not that big." Like, what?
Nice little trade here for Epic, as it's once again a very standard game. A little bit faster starport coming out in the middle of the map.
So this is a kind of
standard.
That's a very normal meme strategy for NA. Is you go Reaper Hellion and then you proxy the starport, and it's usually a Liberator. Honestly, the only reason you would build the starport here is because you expect your opponent to scout for it, and maybe you just think that they won't see it because they'll look for a proxy. And he did look for a proxy, by the way.
Yeah.
So he may have spotted it if he had actually put it where it makes sense to put a starport. But this doesn't make any sense for a starport, which is precisely why
the Hellion gets all the way up too.
This should never happen.
This is completely bonkers.
So 2 Reapers in a Hellion do beat 2 Hellions, but with the Reaper coming back, he's not going to go for that. However, delaying the starport, it is incredibly important because we know that there's a proxy Liberator and there's a reactor on the factory, so there's no Cyclone, which means NA, okay, so TvT, forget, I'll stop making NA jokes here. TvT, when you are in this situation, if he goes for a Raven even, he can still dance against the Liberator very, very well. or he can dance against the Raven with the Liberator very well. So he sees the proxy starport, and now he's going to build a Viking instead. That's $1 million read or scalp by Epic, because if he goes to build a Raven or a Liberator of his own, his life turns into hell. He's building a Marauder because he's worried about dealing with the ground units too. I like it a lot. It's a good adjustment. You don't want to be forced to do this, but this is the right call because that Liberator would mess him up otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. Intelligent moves here by Epic as now he looks to save his natural base. Viking getting involved.
Liberator
nice job.
Does nothing.
Yeah, now these Hellions come down, get a great first volley off onto a lot of those Reapers, and 2 go down.
Fantastic adjustment by Epic. The Marauder prevents a dive on the Hellions by the Reapers just because it has that armor. And no complaints there. He's going to build a Raven out of his proxy starport and research cloak. I think he wants him to think that it's Banshees coming out if he sends the Hellions over there. But you need the Ravens.
Mind game pays off.
Yeah. He's building... What? Epic, you know you don't want to do this. You know this doesn't make sense, Epic.
Talking about the concussive shells?
Yeah. That doesn't make... No. That's he's being silly. It's a bad idea. You don't want to build Marauders either. Unless he's going to go mech and he's trying to fake out a scan, he really shouldn't waste the money on concussive shells. Gas is too important in TvT, but I guess he's floating, so he wants to do this big counterattack.
Yeah,
gets the Cyclone.
Thing. Cyclone falls, and now he's going to pick up and head into the main base. Tank not quite out just yet.
Yeah, but unless Cuddlebear goes mech, like he's never going to need the concussive shell, and it's not going to do a whole lot for him here. So, okay, Marauders are gone. Hellions dealt with. Some solid worker damage, but there's really not a whole lot on the other side of the field either. So
yeah,
just a weird game now.
Yeah, it's a really weird game state, right? We have a proxy Banshee coming out now at the almost 6-minute mark that has been scouted. You're curious to see if that'll be able to do really anything here, because we have missile turrets already done. We have now a second Raven about to come out as well, or excuse me, first Raven for Epic. So it's going to be very hard for this to bring much of an impact, I feel. I mean, maybe against the main force, if you can kill the Viking, it can have some use.
Yeah. Now, remember back to what I said in the last game. There's a lot of stuff boils down to the infrastructure and what you can make. Both players still on a 1-1-1 setup. Epic has squeezed in the third command center since he didn't lose the workers. That's where he's put his money that he's made. That's where his marbles have gone. But he's got a good siege spot on the natural, so he's going to be able to strike back a little bit here. Yeah. But the production difference between the two players is not that great. So for Cuddlebear, he has plenty of time to just make sure he continuously builds his multiple SCVs at a time. And if he can just kill a few more workers of his opponent, he's going to be able to even out that economic difference very quickly. Yeah. I love it.
6 workers going down there, delaying the production a little bit as well, just being a thorn in Epic's side. And this proxy starport is still so weird that it's still producing, but staying safe, so you know, more power to it as the third command center is getting added on.
It's funny. Starport downtime in TvT is so bad that it's like he's gonna build he's building another starport at home, but the starport downtime is so bad he knows he cannot afford to stop using it until it gets killed. And if he can get this Raven out of it and get it home, that's massive. The one Viking can't kill it, so unless those Ravens drop turrets immediately, no, and they won't. So that Raven will get away. So it's totally a good call to use it the way that he did, because he gets out the most important units that you can get from a starport, which are his 2 Ravens.
Yeah, now going to have so much more utility, keeping it alive, like you said, as his main army is moving down to contest the center of the map here against Epic. He's adding on quite a bit of reactors right now, back up in his main base, starting up Stim as well, continue to pump out more of those Vikings with no Viking production coming out from Cuddlebear. Obviously lost that starport as well. Going to mean that air superiority, like we saw in that last game, could prove to be the difference maker for Epic as this continues to go. He gives himself a lot of room to posture with, as Viking production is now starting up for Cuddlebear. Back on the other side of things.
Siege position on this map is still really big, though. He wants to wedge himself. This is it. This is the spot. He's getting very close. Interference Matrix is going to come down on all of his siege tanks, but he's going to use auto turrets to cover his tanks so that he cannot push through. Needs to keep his Marines alive. That's actually really important here. Those Vikings should probably land for Epic to make sure. And there we have it. Really good stop here.
Great cleanup.
And this is the kind of play I did expect to see. Now, one of the funny things there to keep in mind was that Epic went for the 3 Ravens this game that we saw Cuddlebear go for on the last map, and that's one of those like funny escalation things because it can turn into a game of chicken.
Right.
Because in these stages, every interference matrix is worth $1 million, but you do need Vikings at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Viking production going to be really the only thing coming out from Cuddlebear as he is getting overran at the front. Epic marching forward 57-12. That army supply as he looks to force a game number 3 here. And
Cuddlebear should just be super dead, as Rotterdam would say.
Super, super dead. As we look at the supply,
As
it is
Take would say, Zupa dead. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he is he's
Stick a
very,
fork
very
in
dead.
this one. Let's get to game 3. This is a VHS, right? We can just fast forward on it, or it might rip. It might rip the tape.
Right.
Let's let it just play out. That's fine. Just let this game play out. I did get a great tweet. I'm now Nathan Interference Matrix. I'll take that name. It's not a bad name.
That's not a bad name at all.
If I'm overpowered and only cost 50 energy and there could be 4 of me at once, I'll take it.
That's the dream as Interference Matrix comes out here. Vikings going to land, and that's going to be GG. Epic going to force game number 3.
That's right. We didn't ruin today's show for you guys by fast-forwarding that VHS, so now we are going to pop in game 3 and get ready for that.
Do we have somebody rewinding it? Make sure, well, got to be kind.
I think production's been on top of that.
Good.
None of our games have started halfway through, thankfully.
Thankfully. God, the illusion would be ruined then.
Yeah, don't record your birthday party over our WCS matches if you guys can handle it. All right.
Man, we are making jokes about things I never experienced in my life, Nate.
How old are you?
Yeah.
Is this what it's like?
Yeah, I've had at my grandparents' house. I've seen VHS tapes, used them a few times, but all this I know from movies.
Have you ever burned a CD at least?
I have, yes.
Oh.
Yes, I have. I'll save you that pain. I'll save you that pain, Nate.
I need a second. I wasn't ready for this to happen. This is what it's like to be old.
Yeah. Yeah. How's it feel?
It feels bad, man. It feels bad. Did you ever have a Game Boy that wasn't backlit?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay. I can't be that much older than you. All right. So one of the players just needs a minute. So we're going to talk about absolutely nothing for about 2 more minutes. So feel free to. Well, you probably already got us muted anyway.
Oh,
if you were going to mute us, you already did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll just talk using really loud hand gestures. For those who have us muted, they're just not. They're going to be like, "What is going on?"
They're going to be really confused. They're like, "Why are they gesturing so much?"
So I love seeing the Ravens come out, and you get the interference matrix on the 3 tanks. The Marines spread out in a great arc. The Vikings come down on the side.
Right.
They do that bonus mechanical damage, and the 3 tanks just go boop. And it's just fantastic.
It's just so good.
And then you come up, you snuggle up to that cliff with your tanks, and it's just bombardments over the side.
Just so good. Just
it's
right
perfect.
over the army.
Yes.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's really excellent play. You
can't ask for much more than
dividing
that.
it up. So you really can't.
No. So we're going to Tom Cruise 84 for the final map of this series.
Yeah. It's how do you like this map, generally speaking, for TvT?
I don't understand what they're talking about in the lobby. I think he's trying to BM him, but I actually just don't understand what he's saying. For TvT,
they were talking about how blue was OP. They were saying they wanted blue in the last game.
So they were the wrong color in game 1, and then they switched?
I think so.
I'm a bad commentator, so I didn't even notice that they switched colors, or I didn't even notice that they had the same colors. So.
Yeah, Cuddlebear was like, he just wants blue because blue's OP. And then he was mad that he couldn't be green because we of course limit player expression here in WCS. That's always the case, right?
Yeah.
It's like players should be expressing themselves with more colors.
For some reason, we care about colorblind people being able to see what's happening on the screen.
Like screw us, right? How rude of us to try and include everybody.
If it was up to me, everybody would have to play as pink and purple, right? Those are the 2 that drive everyone insane.
Yes.
People do that in WCS.
Yeah, like pink and purple or like blue and teal.
Blue and teal.
Blue and teal and ZVZ especially is just brutal. That's horrible.
It's about the cruelest thing I can imagine. So they are both in the lobby. bantering. Oh, wait, no. Epic's not bantering, right? He needed the break.
No banter
So
from Epic.
Okay, Epic's ready
Just
now.
focus.
But Tom Cruise 84, you have the same vulnerability, actually, with that big cliff that's kind of straight through the slow zone. It can be easier to contain on the slow zone, but then you extend yourself from your base, and if you can get the siege up by the cliff on the main,
Absolutely.
the main base in Tom Cruise 84 is not that big, so production can get choked up by that ramp. It's hard to tuck it away from where tanks can hit, and that can lead to those siege ups being just as painful to deal with. So
Absolutely.
that's what I'll be keeping my eyes on. I don't think the slow zone has too much of an impact for this matchup.
Yeah, except for some like weird edge scenarios where like an army's moving and gets caught, something like that.
It's hard to push through it if you take that third base in front of the main, and you have like a sensor tower, and then you know someone might come to the slow zone.
Right.
Then you have all the time in the world to set up and block them. So we'll see what happens as we are in the final game of our loser match. Whoever gets defeated here is out of WCS. So
Out of
top right,
here.
we have the red Terran player. He is Epic.
Facing off against this guy down to the bottom left-hand side, trying to complete the upset. He's Alpha X's Cuddlebear.
So my expectation remains the same. Should be depot, gas, racks, gas. You can do Reaper, Hellion, Starport. That's not the most uncommon thing. A lot of players, you can kind of go into the fast Cyclone if you want. One of the reasons why TvT builds are so precise and so not that diverse in openings is the Reaper. The Reaper is, in my opinion, in TvT, it's a problem unit. It is extremely difficult to deal with because you have to balance the fact that for Terran to scout early, you need the mules for economy. So a lot of maps you have like the cliffs for Reapers, and then to a lesser degree for like Stalkers to be able to blink up and down.
Right.
But really a lot of it has to do with the Reaper and where you want it to be able to go. So many maps have different things that kind of bork with it and whatnot. But in TvT especially, half of any Terran player's ladder games are just getting proxy Reaper because it is so good. And it is extremely hard to stop. If you go for like a 1 racks Reaper expand and your opponent 2 racks Reapers you're dead.
Dead.
Like
Absolutely.
almost
100% of the time. Yeah.
If your opponent, unless your opponent is just way worse than you, if you're playing someone similar or greater MMR than you and they go 2 or 3 racks Reaper and you try to 1 racks Reaper expand, you are 99% of the time dead.
Absolutely.
Because, if your opponent is as good as you, they should not be making a mistake that's going to offset that difference. So that's why you open up with the gas first, because you want to get the factory out faster. 1 or 2 Hellions with your own Reapers are going to be really good at defending. And then you take off the gas so that you can get a command center. But because you have the factory, you have access to the Hellions, and you don't need the gas anymore. This game's already a little bit interesting because we have this fast reactor from Cuddlebear. So he's going to be able to build 2 Reapers at a time. But I don't necessarily know that he wants to stick to the double Reaper production. We may see him lift off and go for reactored Hellions, or possibly some sort of weird meme reactored Viking build, but it's actually going to stick with building 2 Reapers each time.
Very interesting. We'll give that front line a little bit more beef in terms of being able to, tank a couple shots from the opposing Reapers, give them a little bit more survivability in theory. I'm curious what his plan is with it. With the medevac coming out on the backside, could be looking for Hellion drop into Reapers, like just a bunch of Reapers running up with it?
It could be elevator build, yeah. And it's really weird because there's some people like to joke about this, but this is serious business. Reapers, even though it's like people talk about how they don't need medevacs because they regen on their own, combine medevacs with Reapers and they are hard to perish.
Very hard.
So this type of frontal assault can also just catch your opponent off guard, because even with a Cyclone opening, if you have enough Reapers and enough Hellions, it's kind of like early Terran versus Protoss where you can just jump a Stalker. So that Cyclone, he's seeing red. There you go, 150 minerals, 100 gas down the drain. That's your power unit, and that's also what keeps your units alive. So he says, okay, I'm going to leave you alone. You can go over there. And now you think to yourself, well, it takes time for the Reaper to heal, doesn't it? Well, not when you have a medevac. Eat.
Boom. Back to full health. the pressure continuing here.
And he can lift those Hellions in too.
Yeah, there
Just
we
naked
go.
Marines right now.
Right up into the main, those Marines very naked and afraid as they get shredded through. That tank will be enough to deter this eventually. Until then, Cuddlebear going to enjoy his stay on the other side of the map. But should get ran off now. Getting command center for himself as more reinforcements arrive here, and might be looking to take this fight actually.
Yeah, the tank is a bit scary because unlike a Cyclone, it has really good DPS against ground, but the Medevac picks up the Hellions and is going to take them topside, while the Reapers, of course, they have the ability to jump up the cliff on their own. So this gives Cuddlebear an interesting way of putting pressure against Epic, but that siege tank does a really good job. However, if you can get these mules, that'd be pretty sick. Both of them are quite fresh. Obviously, SCVs are nice too.
A little bit of lost energy and income if you can take those down, but it isn't looking like he's going to get any, actually.
He's migrating the Reapers around the main a little much. There we go. Get some SCV kills. He earned it.
Yeah, nice little lineup there at the end for him. Gives him what he wanted as he starts up Cloak once again, going for that Cloaked Banshee opener. And
ooh, bad timing on that Liberator.
Yeah.
Oof, ouch, owie, my bones. Gets an SCV for a Liberator. The Reapers come in.
Yeah, a lot of series of unfortunate events here for Cuddlebear, and not making nearly as much money as supposed to.
Does that make the Viking count Olaf?
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
Is it the tank?
I think the Vikings are count Olaf for now.
Okay.
Shutting if they can kill that medevac.
It's kind of got a whole ragtag assortment of cohorts, so they can all, in a way, be him. That's kind of his thing, right? He could he could play all of those units anyway.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Count Olaf could be. I mean, he could be this Marine now. Switching it up.
Could be you. Could even be me.
Oh my God. Could even be you in the chat.
There you go.
Anybody.
Well, he's not that good of an actor.
You're right.
Let's be real.
Have you seen the Netflix show? Was it any good?
The books.
The books are good. Yes, I like the books.
I've seen a little bit of it. It wasn't good.
Okay. Viking count continue to climb here for Epic, getting that oh so crucial air superiority. Already at 4 and climbing to just 1 coming out at a time for Cuddlebear. You know,
do you guys still have papers in school this young? Is that a thing in 2000?
I am no longer in school, Nate, so I don't know.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
They did have books and paper when I was in school. Yes.
Okay, thank God.
But like the freshman year when I was graduating, was all getting laptops and stuff and like iPads.
Damn.
Yeah. Yep, that state money comes in clutch sometimes, I guess.
Not in Pennsylvania. So third command center coming in for Epic. And Cuddlebear's infrastructure, he's already got his 3 racks set up, so that's his advantage. He's leveraged the production a bit more, whereas Epic has the economy set up a little bit faster. The Raven is here with the Vikings. Now he can interference matrix it and keep it from boosting, but he will choose not to do so.
Tank's getting a little bit of a weird
Epic's trying to get through that slow zone. Yeah,
making it through here. Going to get set up on the in-between. Just about dead even in that army supply.
If you think about it, the slow zone's not necessarily like an actual effect. It could just be like a speed limit sign that all units have to adhere to.
Don't want to get any tickets.
Yeah. Ooh, that's why that air is so big.
Zone. Oh man, this is such a good spot for Epic now.
You're forced to split your tanks in an awkward way too. That makes it easier for the enemy to kind of focus on one spot or another.
Oh,
look at that,
man.
both tanks in range and the Lib sieging up. Those are 2 dead siege tanks.
Oh, 100% here. Vikings coming over from the left-hand side from Cuddlebear is able to clean up that Liberator.
Like
now
the
gets to
YOLO.
the ground.
Yeah, okay, jumping onto the Liberator was a good play. You know what I haven't actually... I just had a thought.
Tell us about it.
I wonder if the Raven auto turret dies more slowly when it's thrown into an interval.
Oh, like the duration? Oh, that's...
Yeah, it might actually last longer if it's in a slow zone. Because one of the slow zone things that it doesn't affect is weapon attack speed. So theoretically, you could get
it could last longer and fire at the same speed the entire time?
Yeah, so theoretically, you could get more damage out of an auto turret in a slow zone. I need to test that.
That is an important thing to test. That could actually make a difference in like a niche part of these games.
Yeah,
trying to push through there.
When you think about how much damage an auto turret does, that could end up being like an extra like 60 damage out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Get you an extra pick off on a tank or something, which Cuddlebear just lost a tank to Epic.
Yeah, so the pendulum swings back and forth in TvT. Your answer to this, if you don't have the air superiority, is the scan. He's going to continue to scan. He's going to try and inch his own way up.
Yeah, scan noises all around as the +1 weapons finishes up for Epic. That bio going to have a little bit of extra bite.
Wants to go for that counter.
Yeah,
But
nice.
it's 2 base versus 3 base, so Cuddlebear does have to force the issue soon. He's just now
Absolutely.
started his third. That third is way too late.
Yeah, even if it finishes up here, like his economy is just already in such a rough spot.
Yeah, he's not even close to being in this game if he doesn't do serious economic damage, especially
And he needs
since
to clean this up cleanly.
Epic's attacking on the other side.
Oh man, jumping forward here. The SCV is starting to get involved in this fight. That is not what you need, and all the Marines will die here as well.
This is a bit more what I was expecting. Epic really dominating now. Cuddlebear does finally wedge himself behind the mineral line of the natural. But he's down to half his opponent's worker count.
Oh.
And he's got the third. Oh,
Found a
boy.
nice window.
TvT,
Okay.
it's all about the positioning, baby. All right, that third base is getting ravaged. I'd land the Vikings in the main if I could. You could pick off the add-ons with that. That command center in the natural is very low as well.
Oh, please repair it. Okay, I think he is. Vikings did land up here in the main base. 30 SCVs have died, 23 on the side of Cuddlebear.
It's a bloodbath, man.
So many workers dying. And now Cuddlebear will back off. Forced out of the main base, was able to... what happened to that command center? Did it that orbital stay alive, or did it end up
He
falling?
canceled the third. I don't know if he killed it. He might have killed it. It might have been canceled. But yeah, there's no third for Cuddlebear anymore.
Very nicely done here for Epic.
Third CC is still alive.
Yeah, and it is over double the worker count here for Epic.
He's like, you landed your Vikings. That's cool, Brett. Now I'm gonna drop onto your El Tanco de Sijo and kill all of them, or at least most of them.
Or one of them.
No, you got three. You got 3 of the tanks.
Oh,
3?
those-
No, okay, just 2.
Okay, just 2.
I think there were 4 tanks there, but still a good grab.
Yeah, nice pickups there. Medivacs all regrouping with his bio as Epic wants to resecure his third.
My favorite thing to do in late game TvT, especially because I play mech, once I get enough once I get enough missile turrets that I can stop 8 medevacs from boosting into my main, taking like 20 Vikings to the opponent's base with transformation servos, you destroy Terran buildings so fast.
Is that why you brought up the Protoss buildings earlier? Because you can't do that against Protoss.
I can't. And dude, Vikings should do bonus damage to photon cannons. It's the only
at the very
reason.
least.
I play versus a Protoss and they just build 10 cannons. I'm like, well, Vikings suck against cannons. It would also help me against those cannon rushes, because God, I suck against those.
They're brutal, man.
Especially on this map.
Drop doing what it can here. Cuddlebear desperately trying to equalize this economy as best he can.
Cuddlebear needs to kick back on his heel and just chuck this one as far as he can throw it, and just hope that a tall guy is able to jump for it.
Yeah, he needs something, man.
He needs to catch these 2 medevacs and kill them both instantly. Now, like, let's also keep in mind, Epic has his combat shields and he has +1 armor. So his Marines are just better in every way, and now he's starting 2-2.
Yeah, like if the game isn't already locked in, oh man, and combat shields even going to get sniped here as
Everybody
well.
in chat, say goodbye, combat shields. Goodbye, combat shields.
We'll miss you. Not going to be coming up in this game anytime soon for Cuddlebear, as the main army had to turn back to try and deal with this, but he will lose his main orbital, and that is a disastrous blow.
I would just trade out here, but he doesn't. I guess he doesn't feel like he needs to. It's whatever.
Yeah, I guess doesn't want to take any too many unnecessary risks. Nice snipe there on the medevac.
With 6 Marines inside.
It's more of a moral victory than anything for him.
Well, this is a pretty standard thing we see when a player is on the verge of elimination. Cuddlebear, as every second that passes, is so do his chances of winning this game. He restarts. Actually, can I call it a main command? Can I call it a third when it's his main technically now? He's rebuilding his main to float out to the third. He's got no combat shield, no +1 armor. His opponent is halfway to 2-2.
Yeah, this is a very rough spot for Cuddlebear as he desperately fights to keep his tournament dreams alive.
Cuddlebear's got 1 base economy, and he is fighting against a now 3 base Terran player who is still dropping him like it's hot.
Yeah, dropping it like it's hot, hitting the top of the record charts. And
Better believe it.
yeah.
What's weird is that he lost so much supply, but he actually doesn't have that many depots, so even killing a depot, he's supply blocked. He's actually supply blocked now.
Wow.
2-2's almost done. Once 2-2's done, when you have a 3 upgrade lead against your opponent's Marines, then you just aim move them. You don't even care about
absolutely.
siege tanks anymore.
And he's getting +1 shift weapons now, so the tanks will be doing even more. Yeah, this is a dream come true situation for Epic here.
It's very standard when a player's eliminated. They will go for the fantasy GG timing.
Yeah,
But, Cuddlebear played really well. I'm going to give
Absolutely.
credit, you know, took Epic to game 3. I didn't think that he would get this far, but he did a really good job, and it's always nice to see these youngins competing in WCS, but he's got one medevac trying to heal all these combat shieldless Marines, and fun fact, once a Marine without combat shields stims, it gets one-shot by a tank.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, that's as bad as it really gets.
Yeah, that is literally worst case scenario.
I call it the Skittles army because some of them are red, some of them are green, some of them are yellow and orange, and he can't heal them, so they're all going to stay like that.
That's great. Oh, man. Yep.
There we go. Stim again. Stim your 6
through
Marines.
the slow field as well. Just maximum not caring here.
Maximilian carrying here. GG. Epic takes the series 2-1, and he is going to keep himself alive. He will go to the final match of Group B for Boron, an element on the periodic table.
A very good element. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Respectable.
Indeed. With that being said, we now only have 2 matches that remain. Cuddlebear is eliminated from the World Championship Series. We're going to take a look at the results in just a moment, as we will see that there are only 2 best-of-3s remaining today. And it's a storied matchup that happens pretty much every time there's a bracket. TLO tweeted that this would finally not happen in the round of 8 because it's happening in the group stage. Neeb versus TLO coming up next. You're watching the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series.